Most people believe they truly know the person lying beside them every night. Years of marriage, a shared home, a lifetime of memories, it all feels like unshakable proof of love and trust. But sometimes, beneath that sense of security, something unseen quietly grows. Love turns into confusion, trust into heartbreak, and the truth, when it finally surfaces, can be more shocking than anyone could imagine. They build lives together, raise families, and follow a path that looks perfectly normal from the outside. No warning signs. No obvious cracks. Just two people sharing a bed, yet living completely different realities. And then one day, everything changes. What happens when a wife discovers her husband has been hiding his true identity all along? How does she cope with the betrayal, and what comes next? Get ready for a powerful journey filled with secrets, resilience, and jaw-dropping revelations as we uncover the stories of famous Black women who had no idea their marriages were built on a hidden truth. Dorothy Dandridge, a radiant Hollywood trailblazer, stepped into what seemed like a fairy tale marriage, never imagining her husband was living a secret life she couldn't see. As one of the first Black actresses to break barriers in Hollywood, Dorothy made history as the first Black woman ever nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actress, opening doors that had long been shut to artists of color. Back in 1942, still young and rising, she married Harold Nicholas, half of the legendary Nicholas brothers, a dance duo that dazzled Broadway and Hollywood with electrifying performances. At the time, Harold was considered one of the most charismatic and desirable men in show business. With his magnetic stage presence and confident charm, it seemed like Dorothy had found her perfect match. In the beginning, their life together looked like something straight out of a Hollywood dream. Two young, glamorous stars, constantly surrounded by fame, elegance, and high society parties. To the world, they were the picture-perfect couple. But behind the spotlight, cracks were already forming. Harold's lifestyle was anything but stable. Late nights, endless parties, and unexplained absences became the norm. Quiet rumors began to swirl, whispers of secret, all-male gatherings that few dared to speak about openly in that era. Dorothy heard the talk, but she chose not to believe it. In 1943, their daughter, Harolyn, was born, a moment that should have brought them closer. But the joy was heartbreakingly short-lived. Their child was diagnosed with severe brain damage, and Dorothy poured every ounce of her strength into caring for her. While she devoted herself to motherhood, Harold drifted even further away, lost in a reckless, playboy lifestyle that kept him far from home. The weight on Dorothy was crushing. By day, she fought to rise in an industry riddled with racism, chasing roles and proving her undeniable talent. By night, she returned home to care for a child who needed constant attention, alone. And the man who once promised to stand beside her grew more distant with each passing day. By the mid-1940s, their marriage was unraveling. The rumors surrounding Harold's private life grew louder, until one moment made everything impossible to ignore. Dorothy witnessed something that shattered her completely: Harold entering a hotel, hand in hand with another man. In that instant, the illusion was gone. The distance between them was no longer something love could fix. Their marriage came to an end, leaving Dorothy heartbroken. She had entered it with hope and belief, only to discover that the man she loved had been living a life built on secrets. In the years that followed, she continued searching for love, but too often found herself with men who couldn't give her the commitment she deserved. And her relationship with Harold Nicholas remained one of the most painful chapters of her life. A story of love, illusion, and a truth that came too late. Terry McMillan, the brilliant storyteller behind some of Hollywood's most unforgettable love stories, was living a real-life romance that would ultimately shatter into heartbreak. A literary powerhouse, McMillan rose to fame with best-selling novels like Waiting to Exhale and How Stella Got Her Groove Back, capturing the emotions, struggles, and desires of millions. Her words resonated deeply, cementing her as one of the most influential voices in modern American literature. But at the height of her success in 1995, her own love story began, one that seemed just as magical as the ones she wrote. That year, she met Jonathan Plummer, a charming young man from Jamaica, 23 years her junior. The age gap raised eyebrows, but for McMillan, It felt like a breath of fresh air. His warmth, smooth voice, and gentle spirit drew her in, convincing her she had finally found something real. By 1998, their whirlwind romance led to marriage, and life seemed to mirror art in the most beautiful way. In fact, their relationship became the inspiration behind how Stella got her groove back. What readers adored as fiction was, in many ways, pulled straight from her own life, making her love story feel even more authentic, more powerful, more real. For years, everything appeared perfect. Macmillan continued to thrive professionally, traveling and writing, while Plummer settled into life in the United States. From the outside, they were a picture of happiness. But behind closed doors, a devastating truth was quietly waiting to surface. Then, in 2004, after 6.5 years of marriage, everything came crashing down. Out of nowhere, Plummer confessed he was gay. He admitted he could no longer live a double life and wanted to be with a man. The revelation hit Macmillan like a lightning strike. The man she loved, the man who inspired one of her greatest works, had been hiding a truth that changed everything. Heartbroken and blindsided, she filed for divorce immediately, accusing him of deception, believing he had used the marriage to secure a green card and U.S. citizenship. What followed was a media storm. Headlines exploded, not just over their unconventional romance, but over the shocking confession that ended it. When the two appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show, in front of millions, the pain was impossible to hide. Macmillan, fighting back tears, revealed that throughout their entire relationship, from the first spark to the final unraveling, he had never once told her the truth. Plummer didn't deny it. He had no defense. The divorce battle stretched on for over a year, filled with bitter disputes over money and assets. At one point, Plummer even demanded millions. But in the end, the court largely sided with Macmillan, ordering her to pay just $50,000, a fraction of what he sought. In a twist almost too dramatic to be fiction, Terry Macmillan's real-life love story became more shocking, more painful, and more unforgettable than any novel she had ever written. Star Jones, once the poised, powerhouse voice of daytime television on The View, walked down the aisle in what became one of the most extravagant, headline-dominating weddings America had ever seen. In 2004, her marriage to Al Reynolds wasn't just a ceremony, it was a spectacle. A luxury hotel, a breathtaking designer gown, high-end brands woven into every detail. It was the kind of opulence that earned the nickname Bridezilla across media outlets. To the world, Star looked radiant, fulfilled, and completely in love. But even as cameras flashed and magazines celebrated her fairy tale moment, whispers crept in from the shadows. Rumors about Al Reynolds' sexuality circulated quietly at first, then louder, sharper, turning into gossip that followed the couple everywhere. Despite the noise, Star stood unwavering, fiercely defending her husband and their marriage against every raised eyebrow and hushed conversation. Together, they appeared untouchable, gracing red carpets, attending elite events, presenting themselves as the ultimate power couple. From the outside, everything seemed flawless. But behind closed doors, a different story was unfolding, one built on silence, pressure, and a truth waiting to break free. In 2008, just 4 years after that unforgettable wedding, the marriage ended abruptly in a very public divorce. For many, it felt inevitable, like the final chapter of a story that had been questioned from the very beginning. Yet the most profound revelation was still to come. Nearly a decade later, in 2017, Al Reynolds publicly came out as bisexual. He spoke candidly about the internal battle he had fought for years, growing up in a deeply conservative Southern Baptist environment, where faith and judgment often left little room for self-acceptance. The weight of societal expectations, especially within the Black community, forced him to suppress his true identity and live a life that wasn't fully his own. His marriage to Star Jones became part of that struggle, a role he felt compelled to play. And suddenly, everything looked different. What was once celebrated as a glamorous union became a haunting example of hidden truth. The fairy tale wedding, the picture-perfect appearances, the carefully curated love story, all of it now felt like a stage. Al Reynolds performing the role of the ideal husband. Star Jones, unknowingly watching from the front row, captivated by a performance built on secrets. Can you feel it? The illusion, the pressure, the quiet unraveling behind the spotlight. Ernestine Campbell stepped into marriage with a rock and roll legend, never realizing the man she loved was hiding a truth that would only surface decades later. A quiet, hard-working secretary from Washington, D.C., Ernestine's life changed overnight when she married Little Richard, one of the most electrifying icons in music history. Their relationship began in 1959, when she met Richard Penniman at a church event, at a time when he had just walked away from fame after a powerful spiritual awakening, declaring he would leave secular music behind to become a preacher. To many, it seemed like perfect timing. He was searching for a new life, and she represented stability, simplicity, and faith. Their connection was instant and intense, like a storm that came out of nowhere. Just 6 months later, they were married. From the outside, their union was both surprising and symbolic. On one side stood a global superstar, once consumed by flashing lights and roaring crowds. On the other, a woman grounded in an ordinary, peaceful life. Many believed their marriage marked a turning point, that Little Richard was truly leaving his past behind for good. In the beginning, their life together felt normal. Ernestine embraced her role as a wife, building a home with him like any other couple. But beneath the surface, Richard was fighting a battle within himself. Part of him was devoted to faith and the image of a reformed man. Yet another part remained irresistibly drawn to the stage, the applause, the energy, the identity he couldn't fully escape. By the early 1960s, that pull became too strong. Little Richard returned to secular music, and with it came the chaos of fame once again. Tours, pressure, and a lifestyle that left little room for stability. The tension between his two worlds only deepened. By 1964, their marriage had fallen apart in a very public divorce. The reasons seemed clear at the time: the strain of fame, constant travel, and the unpredictability of life with a superstar. But the deeper truth remained hidden. For nearly 20 years after their separation, Ernestine believed their marriage had been real and complete. It wasn't until 1982, during a candid interview, that Little Richard revealed what he had kept buried for so long, admitting that he had been gay his entire life, even describing himself as omnisexual. In that moment, a new layer of their story came into focus. Ernestine hadn't just married a legend, she had unknowingly stepped into a life shaped by inner conflict, unspoken identity, and a man still trying to understand himself. Melba Moore, the legendary voice who unknowingly spent 17 years in a marriage built on secrets. With her radiant elegance and a voice that could cut straight to the soul, Melba Moore wasn't just a star, she was a force. From commanding Broadway stages to dominating the airwaves, she became one of the most beloved black female artists of her time, captivating audiences with every note she sang. In 1974, at the height of her rising fame, Melba married music producer Charles Huggins, a man who seemed to understand both her and the industry she was conquering. To the outside world, they looked like the perfect power couple. He stepped in as her manager, her protector, her partner, handling her finances, booking her shows, and negotiating her contracts. To Melba, it felt like love and loyalty. She believed she had found someone she could trust in an unforgiving business. Through the late 70s and into the 80s, her career soared. Hit after hit, sold-out performances, her name constantly in the spotlight. But behind the scenes, Huggins controlled every dollar that flowed in. Their marriage appeared solid, polished smiles at public events, a picture-perfect union. Yet beneath that image, cracks were quietly forming. Whispers began to surface. Huggins was traveling alone more often. Rumors circulated about his presence at private gatherings, seen in the company of other men. Still, Melba remained focused on her craft, trusting the man she loved, pouring everything into her music and relentless touring schedule. Then came the unraveling. By the late 1980s, financial red flags could no longer be ignored. Money was disappearing. Deals that once brought in substantial incomes suddenly fell silent. And in 1991, the truth exploded into the open. After 17 years of marriage, their relationship ended in a shocking divorce that revealed a devastating reality. Melba Moore accused Charles Huggins of living a completely separate life, one filled with secret relationships with men, all while using their marriage as a cover. Even more painful, she claimed he had manipulated her financially, treating her success like a personal bank account to fund that hidden world. What followed was a bitter legal battle, as Huggins fired back with a defamation lawsuit, dragging their deeply personal story into the public eye. But the court ultimately sided with Moore, ruling that her statements were protected as personal opinion during a contentious divorce, not false accusations. In later interviews, Melba spoke candidly about the heartbreak. She admitted that love, and the trust she gave so freely, had blinded her to the warning signs for years. Behind the fame, behind the applause, was a woman who had been living a life she thought was real, only to discover it was built on illusion. Jevetta Steele was 8 months pregnant when her world cracked open. Just weeks away from welcoming her child, she uncovered a truth that would change everything. Her husband, the man she trusted and built her life around, was secretly living a double life. He was gay. And more than that, he was HIV positive. Jevetta Steele wasn't just any woman caught in a storm. She was a gifted, Oscar-nominated singer whose voice could shake a room and stir souls. Her career had been defined by emotional depth, powerful performances, and a presence that commanded attention. Her life, from the outside, looked like a perfect harmony. Married to fellow musician Amando Dickerson, a singer and guitarist who often shared the stage and studio with her, their union seemed built on love, art, and mutual passion. For years, everything appeared steady. They lived like many couples in the entertainment world, busy, creative, and outwardly solid. But behind that carefully crafted image, a devastating secret was waiting to surface. Then came the moment that shattered it all. In the final stretch of her pregnancy, when her body was heavy, her emotions heightened, and her future felt so close she could almost touch it, Jevetta was hit with the unimaginable. The man she loved had been hiding the truth about who he was and the condition he carried. The shock was so intense, it nearly sent her into premature labor. In an instant, her reality collapsed into a whirlwind of fear, confusion, and heartbreak. She wasn't just facing betrayal, she was confronting terrifying questions. Was she safe? Was her unborn child safe? Had her entire marriage been built on a lie? At a time when HIV was still widely feared and misunderstood, the weight of that revelation was almost unbearable. For a moment, it could have broken her. But Jevetta Steele chose not to be defined by the pain. Instead, she transformed it. Out of heartbreak came creation. She poured her experience into a stage play titled Two Queens, One Castle, a raw, unfiltered reflection on love, deception, identity, and the quiet truths people bury out of fear. Through her art, she didn't just tell her story, she gave voice to countless others living in silence. The play became more than personal healing. It became a bold conversation about secrets, stigma, and survival. Though her marriage to Amando ultimately ended in separation and divorce, their story didn't close in bitterness. In a powerful act of maturity and resilience, they chose to remain connected as family, co-parenting their children and moving forward with a shared commitment to those who mattered most. Jevetta Steele's story isn't just about betrayal. It's about strength in the face of shock, truth rising from secrecy, and a woman who refused to let her darkest moment define her ending. Lena Horne, the luminous Hollywood legend, stepped into a marriage that would prove far more complicated than it appeared. A breathtaking blend of beauty, elegance, and undeniable talent, she rose to prominence as both a singer and actress, breaking through racial barriers at a time when the industry was stacked against her. In 1947, as her star was rapidly ascending, she married Lenny Hayton, a respected composer at MGM. Their union immediately drew attention. A black woman fighting to claim space in a segregated Hollywood, and a white man firmly rooted within its powerful studio system. To many, theirs looked like a strategic alliance, a so-called lavender marriage, whispered about in industry circles as a union meant to protect reputations and navigate social limitations. For Lena, the decision wasn't purely about love, it was also about survival in an unforgiving world. Being tied to someone with influence opened doors that had long been closed to her. At first, Their life together shimmered under Hollywood's spotlight. Lena's career flourished. She performed on grand stages, recorded music, and appeared in films, her name becoming synonymous with sophistication and trailblazing success. From the outside, they seemed like a powerful, glamorous couple. But behind closed doors, their reality was far more complex. Over time, Lena began to sense a distance in the man she married, a quiet, unspoken truth about his sexuality. Hayton lived with inner conflicts, and there were periods when he withdrew entirely, leading a separate life that included relationships with men. When Lena came to understand this, their marriage fractured more than once. Yet, in an unexpected twist, they always found their way back to each other. In her later reflections, Lena admitted that while the marriage may have begun as a calculated move, something deeper and more nuanced eventually grew between them. It was not a conventional love story, nor merely an arrangement. It existed somewhere in between. She came to understand Hayton's struggles and, rather than walking away, chose a path of acceptance. He was a gifted composer, a gracious partner in many ways, but also a man wrestling with a hidden identity, one that shaped the quiet, complicated truth of their life together. Phyllis Hyman, a voice so rich, so haunting, it could stop you in your tracks, lived a life that sounded like a love song on stage, but felt like heartbreak behind closed doors. Widely celebrated as one of America's most captivating soul and jazz singers, she was admired not only for her stunning beauty, but for the raw emotion that poured through every note she sang. She wasn't just a performer, she was an experience. As her career began to rise in the late 1970s, Phyllis married music producer Larry Alexander, a man who seemed to be both her partner in love and her guide in business. To the public, he looked like the perfect match, someone who understood the industry, who could shape her image, elevate her brand, and help her reach new heights. And for a while it worked. He handled the deals, booked the shows, built the strategy. Meanwhile, Phyllis lit up stages across the country, her name growing bigger with every performance. Together, they appeared unstoppable, a powerful union of talent and direction. But behind that polished image, something was quietly unraveling. While Phyllis poured her soul into her music, her personal life was slipping into silence. The man she trusted most was living a secret life, one she knew nothing about. Larry Alexander had been involved in hidden relationships with men, carefully concealed from the woman who shared his home. At first, the distance between them was subtle, long absences, emotional detachment, unanswered questions. But over time, those cracks widened into something impossible to ignore. By the early 1980s, the weight of it all began to take its toll. Despite her growing fame, Phyllis often felt deeply alone, even in her own marriage. Then came the moment that shattered everything. In 1985, she discovered the truth. Her husband hadn't just been distant. He had built an entirely separate life with another man. The betrayal was devastating. Struggling to cope with the emotional pain, Phyllis turned to substances in an attempt to escape. Depression tightened its grip, and the loneliness she carried became heavier with each passing year. Ironically, the very pain that broke her also fueled the depth in her music, that aching, unforgettable emotion that audiences couldn't resist. She gave the world her voice, but behind it was a woman quietly falling apart. Her marriage to Larry Alexander officially ended in 1988, but the damage didn't disappear with it. Phyllis kept going, performing, recording, captivating audiences as she always had. From the outside, she remained a star. But inside, the battle never stopped. And in 1995, after years of silent suffering, Phyllis Hyman's story came to a heartbreaking end. A woman who gave so much love through her music left this world feeling utterly alone. A tragic reminder that even the brightest voices can carry the deepest pain. Tisha Campbell, more than 20 years devoted to a marriage, only to discover the man she loved had been living a truth she never saw coming. A familiar face on American television, Tisha rose to fame through hit comedies, most notably Martin, winning audiences over with her charisma, comedic timing, and undeniable presence. She wasn't just a star, she was a staple of the small screen, admired for both her talent and her strength. In 1996, at the height of her rising career, she married actor Dwayne Martin. To the public, they were the picture of a perfect Hollywood union, young, successful, and seemingly unshakable. They showed up together, smiled together, and built what looked like a beautiful, thriving family. Through the late 90s and early 2000s, they were often praised as one of the few enduring couples in an industry known for broken relationships. But behind that polished image, there were whispers, quiet at first, easy to dismiss. As the years passed, Dwayne's unusually close connections with certain high-profile male figures began to raise eyebrows within the industry. Still, nothing was ever confirmed. And Tisha? She stayed focused on what mattered most to her: her children, her work, and the life she believed she was building. To the outside world, they were still a couple weathering the storms of Hollywood together. But the rumors never fully disappeared. They only grew louder, more persistent, lingering in that uncertain space between truth and speculation. Then, in 2018, everything changed. After more than 2 decades together, their marriage came to an abrupt end. The divorce shocked fans, but what followed shook even deeper. Dwayne Martin later revealed that he was bisexual, a truth that reignited years of speculation and cast their entire relationship in a new light. In an industry where image is everything, the pressure to conform had kept his reality hidden for years. But for Tisha Campbell, that revelation was devastating. After investing over 20 years of love, trust, and commitment, after building a family and believing in a shared future, she was left to face a painful truth. The life she thought was real had been, in part, an illusion. And when that illusion finally shattered, it didn't just break a marriage. It broke something much deeper. Louise Thompson Patterson walked into marriage believing she had found an intellectual equal, only to discover she had stepped into a carefully constructed illusion. Brilliant, poised, and deeply embedded in the pulse of the Harlem Renaissance, Louise was more than a participant in history. She helped shape it. Her salons brought together some of the most powerful Black voices of the era, turning her into a magnetic force within Harlem's cultural awakening. By 1928, Harlem was alive, buzzing with poetry, debate, and revolutionary thought. And at the center of it all stood Louise, sharp-minded, well-connected, and impossible to ignore. That same year, she married Wallace Henry Thurman, a rising literary star whose controversial novel The Blacker the Berry had already stirred conversation across the community. On the surface, their union seemed perfect, a meeting of minds, a partnership rooted in shared vision and cultural purpose. But behind closed doors, something wasn't right. Almost immediately, cracks began to form. Thurman grew distant, guarded, trapped in a quiet tension he never fully explained. He was a man constantly looking over his shoulder, terrified that the truth of his private life might be exposed. Because beneath the image he presented to the world, Thurman was hiding a reality that, in the late 1920s, could destroy everything. He was drawn to men. In an era that offered no space for such truth, he chose concealment. And to him, marriage became the perfect disguise, a public shield crafted from respectability and intellect. But even the most convincing masks don't last forever. Within just 6 months, Louise began to see through the facade. The emotional distance, the cold silence, the unspoken tension, it all pointed to a deeper truth. What she thought was a partnership began to feel like a performance. A cover. A role she had never agreed to play. By the end of 1928, their marriage quietly collapsed, leaving behind whispers but no clear answers. It wasn't until years later that Louise revealed what she had come to understand. Thurman's secret relationships with men were at the heart of their unraveling. He, however, denied it publicly for the rest of his life. There were no dramatic confrontations, no public scandals. Just 2 driven individuals who walked away and buried the truth in silence. But Louise didn't fade. If anything, she rose stronger. Channeling her experience into purpose, she became a powerful voice in political and social movements, fighting fiercely for Black women's rights and carving out a legacy far beyond the shadows of a broken marriage. Portia Williams once stepped into what looked like a fairy tale marriage, but behind the polished image, the truth would slowly unravel in ways she never expected. Known for her bold presence on The Real Housewives of Atlanta, she quickly became one of the most talked about figures on the show, captivating audiences with her confidence, charm, and headline-making personal life. In 2011, she married Kordell Stewart, a former NFL star admired for his strong, disciplined, and traditionally masculine public image. To the outside world, they looked picture-perfect, a high-profile athlete and a rising reality TV star building a life together. But beneath that polished surface, whispers from the past lingered. As far back as the late 1990s, rumors had quietly circulated within sports circles about Stewart's private life, stories of unexplained encounters and sightings that raised eyebrows but were quickly buried while his career was still in the spotlight. Over time, those rumors faded from headlines but never truly disappeared, they simply lingered in the shadows. When Portia entered his life years later, she was largely unaware of that history. At first, their marriage seemed normal, even promising. But slowly, subtle cracks began to form. There was an emotional distance she couldn't explain, a lack of intimacy that didn't align with the relationship she had envisioned. What seemed perfect on the outside began to feel confusing and isolating behind closed doors. By 2013, everything collapsed. Stewart abruptly filed for divorce, leaving Portia blindsided and searching for answers. The breakup quickly became public, unfolding in front of millions and turning into one of the most talked-about storylines on reality television. During that time, Portia began to speak more openly about the doubts she had kept to herself throughout the marriage. She hinted at behaviors that didn't match her expectations, suggesting a disconnect that went far deeper than ordinary marital issues. Her words ignited widespread conversation across entertainment media, fueling speculation and debate. Stewart firmly denied the allegations, publicly asserting his heterosexuality and taking legal action to defend his name. Despite the backlash, Portia stood her ground, insisting that what she experienced in the marriage was real and deeply personal. In the end, their story remains layered and unresolved. Because when it comes to relationships, the truth isn't always what the world sees, it's what's lived behind closed doors, known only to the two people at the center of it all. Tamar Braxton stepped into marriage believing she had found both love and a powerful creative partner, never imagining the truth her husband was hiding would eventually change everything. A celebrated singer and reality TV personality, Tamar rose from the iconic Braxton family with a voice that demanded attention and a personality that lit up every room she entered. By the early 2000s, she was carving out her own lane in the music industry, driven, fearless, and ready to leave her mark. It was during this pivotal time that she met music producer Daryl Alame. Their connection was instant, intense, and moved at lightning speed, something not uncommon in the fast-paced world of entertainment. By 2001, the two were married. On the surface, it looked like a perfect match, a rising star and an established producer building a future together. But behind closed doors, things didn't feel as solid as they appeared. As Tamar poured herself into her career, subtle cracks began to form, long silences, emotional distance, and behaviors she couldn't quite explain. What once felt like passion slowly turned into confusion. Just 2 years later, in 2003, the marriage ended quietly, with no public explanation. It wasn't until years later, during a candid moment on The Real, that Tamar revealed the truth. She had discovered her ex-husband was gay. Looking back, Tamar shared that the experience was a painful but powerful lesson. It taught her that love alone isn't enough. Real connection requires honesty, vulnerability, and truly knowing the person you're committing your life to. Because when the truth is hidden, it doesn't disappear, it waits, and when it finally comes out, it can leave a lasting impact. Tisha Arnold. For years, she lived the life many admired, a successful actress, a loving mother, and a woman who believed she had finally found stability in love. Best known for her standout role on the hit sitcom Martin, Tisha's charisma, humor, and undeniable presence made her a household name across America. On the surface, her world looked picture-perfect. But behind closed doors, a very different story was unfolding. After her first marriage to boxer Lamont Brewster ended, Tisha gave love another chance in 2012 when she married basketball coach Derico Hines. Friends and fans alike believed this was the fresh start she deserved, a strong, supportive partner to match her strength. But by late 2015, subtle changes in Hines' behavior began to raise red flags. Something didn't feel right, and Tisha couldn't ignore her instincts. What she uncovered was nothing short of devastating. While searching for the truth, she discovered explicit videos of her husband involved with other people. Even more shocking, some of those encounters were with men, revealing a hidden life he had kept buried throughout their marriage. The betrayal cut deeper than words could express. Within just a month, Tisha made a bold and painful decision. She filed for divorce. Refusing to let rumors twist the narrative, she took control of her story by sharing the evidence with close family and friends. In an industry where truth is often distorted, she stood firm, making it clear she would not be painted as the villain, nor would she continue protecting someone who had deceived her. Her story isn't just about heartbreak, it's about strength, clarity, and the courage to walk away when the truth finally comes to light. Palisa Madisakwane was carrying new life when her world quietly began to unravel. A familiar face on South African television, she was known for her presence, her poise, and a career that was just beginning to blossom in the vibrant 1990s entertainment scene. It was during this exciting chapter of her life that she met Simizi Mlango, a rising star whose charisma was impossible to ignore. Simizi had a magnetic energy. He was confident, effortlessly charming, and had a way of lighting up every room he entered. To those around them, they looked like the perfect match, two bright talents drawn together by the rhythm of the same artistic world. Their connection deepened quickly, and Palisa believed she had found someone she could build a future with. At the time, nothing about Simizi raised questions in her mind. He didn't fit any stereotype, didn't show signs that made her doubt his feelings. Their relationship felt real, natural, like any other couple navigating love and ambition in the spotlight. Then in 1995, everything shifted. Palisa discovered she was pregnant with their daughter, a moment that should have been filled with pure joy. But in the midst of that life-changing news, another truth slowly came to light. Simizi revealed that he was gay. It was a revelation that could have shattered everything. But instead of letting it destroy them, they chose a different path. They redefined their relationship, letting go of romance but holding on to respect and partnership. Over the years, they remained close, raising their child together, not as lovers, but as friends bound by something deeper than expectations. LaJoyce Brookshire was a woman admired for her wisdom on love, faith, and family, yet her own marriage hid a devastating truth she never saw coming. Known as an author and educator, she built a reputation as a strong, inspiring voice in her community, guiding others on how to nurture meaningful relationships and spiritual connection. But behind that image was a story that would shake everything she believed about trust. In the late 1980s, LaJoyce entered marriage with hope and unwavering faith. Her husband appeared to be everything she had prayed for: steady, composed, and devoted to family life. To her, this was a union built on understanding, a partnership where nothing seemed out of place. Their early years together felt stable and full of promise. They created a home, made plans for the future, and continued growing side by side. LaJoyce carried on with her work, speaking proudly about love, commitment, and the sacred bond between husband and wife. And yet, beneath that calm surface, a hidden life remained carefully concealed. By the mid-1990s, her husband's health began to deteriorate. At first, LaJoyce believed it was just a passing illness, something they would overcome together. She stood by him with unwavering devotion, caring for him through every difficult moment, convinced they were simply facing one of life's inevitable challenges. Then, in 1995, everything changed. Her husband passed away from AIDS-related complications, and in that moment, the foundation of her world began to crumble. But the true shock came afterward. As LaJoyce searched for answers, the truth slowly emerged, piece by piece, revealing a reality she had never imagined. The man she had trusted completely had been living a secret life. He had engaged in relationships with men, hidden from her throughout their entire marriage. Even more devastating, he had known he was HIV positive before they ever said, "I do." The betrayal was not just emotional, it was deeply personal, a silence that carried life-altering consequences. LaJoyce's story would later echo far beyond her own life, becoming a powerful warning about the dangers of secrecy and the cost of unspoken truths in a marriage. Instead of allowing the pain to define her, she chose to speak out. Through her writing and public voice, she transformed heartbreak into purpose, urging others to embrace honesty, accountability, and courage in their relationships. Because sometimes, the most dangerous secrets are the ones closest to home. Lynette McKee's world shattered when a truth she never saw coming finally surfaced. Her husband had been living a double life for years. A celebrated American actress, best known for her powerful role in Malcolm X and numerous television projects, Lynette seemed to have it all. In 1983, she stepped into a new chapter, marrying Compton, a well-respected youth counselor admired for his dedication to the community. From the outside, their marriage looked picture-perfect, steady, loving, and full of promise. Friends envied their bond. Lynette continued rising in her career, while Compton devoted himself to helping others. Everything appeared solid, almost too perfect. But behind closed doors, a life-altering secret remained hidden. Lynette believed she was building a future with a man who shared her vision, her dreams, her truth. Then, in 1990, everything came to an abrupt end. After 7 years together, their marriage quietly dissolved, with no explanation to the public. To outsiders, it was just another Hollywood breakup, nothing unusual. But the reality was far more devastating. Compton was living as a gay man, a truth that had been concealed throughout their entire marriage. Not long after their divorce, he tragically passed away from complications related to AIDS, leaving behind a story filled with silence, heartbreak, and unanswered questions. Stories like this force us to confront an uncomfortable reality. Honesty is the foundation of any relationship, yet even that can be shattered without warning. Fame doesn't protect anyone from betrayal or hidden truths. If this story changed the way you see the lives behind the spotlight, share your thoughts below. And if you want more untold, jaw-dropping stories from the entertainment world, make sure you subscribe and turn on the bell. You won't believe what's coming next.